before the video starts. Like nobody is subscribed, so please subscribe. Thank you. What's up guys, Dr. Large, and we're here with the F archetypes. Alright, so now these are some archetypes I'm not hugely familiar with in a lot of places, other than I know fantastically. So you'll have to bear with me. First of all, we got Fabled, and I've seen Fabled being played. Fabled's got some power. I'll give Fabled A, honestly. I've seen that archetype combo for ages. Only issue the deck has is it's not got any real removal. I remember playing against a friend of mine, and I think I was playing Goki. I just set Guts, and they didn't really have a way out of it. However, this deck can combo a lot. Don't underestimate this deck. It's very good. Is it like the best deck ever made? No. But it's definitely one that you should keep an eye on. Now, if you're wondering what this is what is labeled as the face cards archetypes. So that's King's Knight, Jack's Knight, Queen's Knight. And I don't know if they got all of their support in Master Duel. I'm assuming they have. So if they haven't, it's an F tier archetype. But if they have, I have to give it like a C. The deck doesn't do a whole lot. It's pretty bad. It's based around normal monsters. It's not good. It's just a lot of like level 4, level 5 monsters. They've got very mediocre stats. They don't have a proper boss monsters. They've got like, I think they have a Link 3 maybe, and a Fusion, but like that's it. It's not great. Fairy Tail. Things for Fairy Tail. They've got this awkward position of they've got two great cards. One a lot better than the other, obviously. Being Snow and Luna. Luna's used for a loop with Kaijus, which is great for, you know, when you're playing a gimmicky sort of deck. But it's not fantastic generally. I give Fairy Tails B for how good Snow is. Snow on its own carries this archetype so far. Obviously Snow was banned in the TCG. It only just came back. And in Master Duel, if you're playing like a grass deck with Thunder Dragons, boy do you need Snow in that, because that gets dumb. That is so much advantage, genuinely. It's like kind of scary how much advantage it is. The actual other Fairy Tales, to my knowledge, they're all just kind of bad. But the gimmick of the deck is monsters with 1,850 attack. Like, that's it. Oh, and they're also spellcasters. So if nothing else you can say, oh, well, if I'm playing it pure, I can chuck in Secret Villager spellcasts. Which is true. Here we have Familiar Possessed, which is also including the Charmers archetype, because they're kind of one and the same. All the monsters are the same. Literally, it's just evolved versions of them. And they're supposed to work in tangent. Now, to the one person in the comments section of my C tiers archetype tier list, he's not really going to like me for this. But I'm going to put it C. If it was Charmers, it would be F. Charmers, I'm sorry, they're bad. In the nicest way I can put it, they're not good. Familiar Possessed have a little bit of potential. They had some support cards announced a long time ago now. We don't have them in Master Duel, I'm pretty sure. Which let you do some neat things. The best thing I have for Familiar Possessed really is the actual Familiars have their own monsters, which they all focus around. If you control a spellcaster, special summon it. And that's kind of like all they do really. And that's useful for a link spam deck I made, which every hand puts up 4 monsters on the board, which lets you make Verti Anaconda, IP Masquerena. You then use Verti Anaconda to make your fusion monster. So at the time it was Dragoon, nowadays it'd be Destroy Phoenix and Force from the TCG. It's not very good in Master Duel, so sorry to that one guy, but the deck's not fantastic. Pretty much a majority of the decks on this tier list would beat them, apart from one, which we'll get to later. Fire Fist, I'm actually going to put A tier. They are not a broken deck by any means. They're not broken, but they are good. They are playable, and they have Tenki. Tenki has been one of the most important spells of Yu-Gi-Oh! Generally. Searching any level 4 lower Beast Warrior, when that is one of the best types in the game, incredible. They've actually got a win condition so it's better than a lot of decks on this list. No, it's a bit unfair. It's better than a lot of decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! They get to their win condition pretty well, but they have also got a lot of pretty meh cards. I have to put that as a little disclaimer. So I put them A because to call them S tier, when I'll be honest, there is only really one S tier on this list, and I think you can see which one it is. It's a shame. Fire Kings I'll put B though. Fire Kings are a sadly small archetype. I really feel like they do deserve some support. However, the main use of Fire Kings is the fact that their gimmick is literally the word destroy, which made them useful in decks like Cosmo. Duel actually used to be one of their biggest things they joined up with. But if there's ever another archetype that focuses around being destroyed, whether that's Handfield, wherever, if there's another archetype that focuses around being destroyed, Fire Kings will most likely see experimentation with them, along with Metaphors. Obviously Metaphors aren't here, they would be higher, I'll tell you that. But Fire King's pretty neat. They also have like a negate, they've also got the Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. Pretty much the most Fire Kings have seen play in TCG in recent years, well not in TCG, just generally in Yu-Gi-Oh! In recent years is Duel Links, because Duel Links had to get all the way up to normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Power level. Flamvell is bad, but Rekindling is good, so I have to give it C. Flamvell themselves, they're a synchro deck. I don't really think they synchro summon very often, but Rekindling is such a good card. It's literally Soul Charge, and if you don't know what Soul Charge is, oh boy, you should. Pay 1,000 life points, just summon back a monster. But you can do that as many times as you want. So you can pay 5,000, summon 5 monsters. Oh, but you don't get a battle phase. Oh well, you're not having a turn. It was so dumb. And the card was banned in the time I've been playing the game, so I think that says a lot. Flower Cardian. We actually just recently got a little bit of cosmetics for them in the Synchro tournament, which very much dates the video, but here we are. Flower Cardians, I love Flower Cardians. When I first saw them, I didn't understand how a deck like this could be allowed, but the deck doesn't do a huge amount. It dies to draw. It's luck based, obviously. It bricks. It feels like it should brick a lot more than it does. I haven't really bricked with Flower Cardians before, but I can tell you it feels like it should brick more than it does. But it has a win condition. It's an FTK. Like, it's a good deck. Like, that is not to be underestimated. It is a good deck. Not like Fabled levels are good. Like, the deck gimmick is draw one card, pretty much. It's a card game in a card game. Is its premise, but it's a fun deck. It's not a great deck. Fluffals. You can tell my reluctancy to play anything in F or S tier right now, because there are like 2 specific archetypes that are set for both of them. But Fluffals are A. Fluffals I think are completely on the level of Fabled and Fire Fist. It's a lot of like small cute fairy monsters that you fuse together with edge imps to make these horrible abominations that OTK your opponent like 6 times over. Really fun deck. I like playing it. It got its best support card like 2 years ago, which was Frightfur Patchwork, which is very good. Like, very good. Just wish it wasn't a hard one to turn, but definitely a deck worth playing. It's a fusion deck, and it's very, I don't know if I'd say very consistent. It's also got an entirely new playstyle now, using Edge Imp Scythe and summoning the whale, and you can also make VFD in this deck, so it's a deck to be worried about. We finally get to our F tier deck, which is Fortune Fairies. I don't know what this deck does other than the gimmick is you draw them and you special summon them. That's it. It's bad. I don't know why you would choose to play this deck. It's just awful. Yeah. Fortune Ladies, I give them C. If this was Duel Links, I'd give them an A. But this isn't Duel Links. This is Master Duel. And Fortune Ladies kind of suck, I'll be honest. They have their support. They got a Synchro Monster, which is their win condition, but their win condition isn't very good. Which really, it makes them the best on this list, in C tier at the least. So, you know, I'll give them props there. They're the best C tier archetype, but they're not great. Fossil I have to give B. I think Fossil is, like, it's in this awkward place of it's overrated and overhated at the same time. Fossil, it's great with Adamantipator. You play it as an engine using Flint Kragger. Lets you make Naturia Beast in that deck, and then you get a level 4 extender as well. It's great, but people who like legitimately just play Fossil, sorry, they're not doing a whole lot. Or they try to play specifically Fossil Adamantipator, and they just kind of take away from the power that Adamantipator has. It's not all that good. On an honest level, it's not all that good. But it's a good extender, there is a win condition, and it gets to use your opponent's resources. That's what makes it particularly good. It uses your opponent's resources. So definitely one to keep an eye on. But don't try and play it on its own. Just keep it to an engine Adamantipator. Frog S tier. Finally, we get to our one S tier. That's going to be Frogs. Frogs are level 2 Aqua Archetype. They have a lot of dud cards. I can tell you that now. There are a lot of dud cards. Which were only really relevant in... Oh, what was it? It's a Frog FTK. I can't remember what card it is now. But it's one of the frogs that lets you tribute a frog, summon a frog from the deck. Not once per turn. So you could pretty much just like mill out tons and tons of frogs from your deck, and then FTK your opponent because you can use Ronin Totem to banish a frog, summon it. That's not once per turn either. So you can just keep doing that, summoning in the back, and FTK your opponent. It's kinda nuts. Nowadays, this is used in conjunction with Paleozoics, which is a trap archetype, which they summon themselves from the graveyard as monsters, specifically level 2 Aqua monsters, just like frogs. Only issue with this deck is Toad is at 1. I don't want Toad to come back from anything but 1. I don't like Toad, mainly because I don't like Bahamut Shark, but yeah, I'm not huge on Totally Awesome. But frogs are a very good archetype, that's never to be underestimated. And for hires, I will give B. I have seen genuinely how powerful Fur hires can be, but I've also seen that if you literally activate Trap Hole, they lose. They need their normal summon. If you stop their normal summon in any kind of way, the deck has to scoop. They can't do anything. They need their one summon. And once they get their one summon, they'll get another one, and another one, and another one, and they keep getting advantage as they summon more. It is a good deck for the power level that it is. If you're playing decks on a similar level, play Fur Hire. Other than that, don't, because you're also not a furry. And with that, that's how we'll end the video, because we're not furries. Make sure you like and subscribe. As I've been saying in all my recent videos, please do subscribe. Not many of you have subscribed, and I would really like it, you know, make my own sort of ground into the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Obviously, I've only got, like, as of the time of recording, I think it's 57 subscribers, and I'm hoping to, you know, break 100 so that I can get like a little bit of leeway into the Yu-Gi-Oh community and actually try and, you know, improve my content besides just making tier lists. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with a friend.